Yes, sir. Follow.
To connect to
Connecting database.
database.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Connecting
earlier we
database.
were connecting through the SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. With that, we could connect to database.
Okay, sir.
Instead of using from application, how to connect? Okay, from your C# application, you need to connect to database.
Okay.
So for that purpose, either we can use ADO.NET or we can use Entity Framework.
Okay.
So by using any of these two, we can connect to database. Okay, we can be connected to database using here ADO.NET or Entity Framework. So first, let us explore actually what is ADO.NET. Okay, ADO.NET is a framework. It is, having number of classes. Using that, you can manipulate data from the relational databases. You can perform DDL operations, DML operations, DCL operations, TCL operations. Okay, all this you can perform with the help of the ADO.NET classes. ADO.NET is having hierarchy of classes. With the help of that, we can connect to database. Okay, so what are the classes available in the ADO.NET? The classes available in the ADO.NET are, first thing, we have data set. Okay, data table, data column. Similarly, we have data row. Using this, you can manage in-memory data. You can bring all the data, number of tables into database, into memory, and in the memory, you can manage as data set. So this is useful whenever you go with the disconnected mechanism. There are two mechanisms, connected mechanism and disconnected mechanism. In the connected mechanism, what happens, as long as you don't close connection, the database is open. The connection to the database is open. But when you go with the disconnect mechanism, as soon as, okay, you fetch data, automatically you can close, connection get closed. That happens in the connected mechanism. Okay, so we can use two different ways. One is disconnected, other one is connected mechanism. Now we take data set, data table, data column, and data row. These are basically in-memory database objects. Okay, so data set is something similar to database that you maintain in the relational database. Database is similar to a table in the database. Data row is similar to a row in the database table. Data column is similar to a column in the database table. Okay, like this, these are called as in-memory database. Okay, so here when you look at data row is nothing but collection of columns. Okay, and when you take a data table, that is collection of various rows. And when you look at data set is nothing but collection of data tables. So like this, you have a hierarchy. This we use, this is called as in-memory database. Okay, it is nothing but in-memory database. Fine. So here in this case, you fetch all the data from the database and keep in the memory. It is nothing but in-memory database. Okay, to access data, once you fetch data or once you manipulate data, probably in the memory you have these. But to get connected to database, you require some other classes. Okay, those classes are, first of all, okay, so you have connection class. Similarly, command class. We have reader class. We can say data reader. Okay, similarly, data adapter class. These are important classes. So using SQL, with the help of this connection, you can connect to SQL Server, or you can connect to like MySQL, PostgreSQL. Okay, but for them, you need to use different libraries. They also follow same ADO.NET principles, but you require different libraries for that. To get connected to SQL Server, we have SQL connection. Okay, SQL connection. Similarly, SQL command. One more thing is here, SQL reader, data reader, SQL data adapter. So these classes we use. Okay. So this is SQL connection, SQL command, SQL data reader, SQL data adapter. With the help of that, we manage the database. Similarly, we have OLEDB connection. Okay. Similarly, OLEDB command, OLEDB data reader, OLEDB data adapter. Okay, we have these also. So using this OLEDB, we can connect to any kind of database. But when you want to connect to the SQL server, particularly SQL server, you can use SQL connection, SQL command, SQL data reader, SQL data adapter. These are defined in the like SQL client namespace. So in the namespace SQL client, these are defined. Okay, it's a namespace SQL client. In that SQL connection, SQL command, SQL data reader, SQL data adapter are available. Okay, so SQL connection, using that you can connect to the, you can open a connection with a given SQL Server database. Using SQL command, you can perform various commands, and with the help of the SQL data reader, you can fetch data. With command, first of all, what you do, you select data. Then whatever data you're selecting, you can put into data reader object. Okay, so from data reader object, one by one row you can read, or else what you can do, you can actually put that into data table also. Straight away you can read into data table. Even that also you can do. And another one is SQL data adapter. So with the help of this, at one time only you can fetch all the data into the data set, okay, or data table. So that is possible with the SQL data adapter. So we have these 4 important classes. Apart from this, you have other classes as well. Okay, now let us get connected to SQL Server. Fine. So now what I do in this case, first of all, I define here. So if you go to the project, or if you go view, you have here Solution Explorer. You have here Solution Explorer. Okay. When you look at this, what are the classes available to you? So the JSON file is not available here. Okay, app JSON file is not available here. If you want to create, you can create that file, and in that you can put the JSON data. You can keep data, JSON data in that particular thing. Okay, so let us go and try to create here some JSON file. Add new item. So that is called as app settings.json file. Okay, you can go here and create one application configuration file. It is app config file we have here, or else app settings file also must be available for us. Okay, that we can use. It is settings one. It's not settings one actually. We can create here some app settings.json file. Okay, so application configuration file. We have like that. Okay. So when we come down here, JSconfig1 you have here. Okay. So let us go with the app config file only. Otherwise, application configuration file, it is app.config. So now what happens here? It is creating for us application configuration file. It is nothing but XML file. Here, go with the connection strings. Okay, so here what we do, we can go with the add then go with the name. You can put this as dbcon, then give a space, then take the connection string and try to put the connection string in this. So what database we have to connect? We need to check actually the concerned database first of all in this SSMS. Let us go to SSMS and open the SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, so now we are going to open, we are going to see the connection string first of all. Let us connect it and try to see the database. What database we can access? Let us see from this. You have various databases in this. Let us go to here, like I can try with the, okay, we have created with your name some tables we created. Let us go to this and try to see what data is available in this. Select top 1000 rows. It is showing here how many? 3 rows it is showing for us. Let us connect to which table? VRDB database. Let us connect. Okay. So what we require here in the connection string, first we need to write here server equal to. What is the name of the server here? This is the name of the server. So if you expand this and if you go to properties, you can take the name of the server from here. Okay, just cancel this here and come to this, then put here server equal to desktop -mqv79db. Then next thing is what? Database. What is the database we are trying to open? VRDB we want to open. Just write this as VRDB. Okay, we have specified the database name as well. So whenever this particular SQL Server database I created using Windows authentication. Okay, Windows authentication meaning is what here? Integrated security equal to true. That means whatever username and password with that I logged into Windows system, so automatically using them I am opening the database. Okay, so that is called as here integrated security. Integrated security equal to, I can write this as true. Integrated security equal to true. Then one more thing, encrypt equal to, here it is false. So this is the connection string I am trying to use. I am trying to use this connection string. With the help of this, I should get connected to underlying database. Okay, where I am defining this connection string in the configuration. Instead of hard coding in one place, you can actually create a connection string, and wherever you need, you can actually use them. So where I am defining this connection string in the app config file. It is in the app config file. So here I have saved it. Server, I specified this. Database VRDB, integrated security equal to true, encrypt equal to false. These settings I kept. Okay, now I need to connect and I need to write code for this. Okay, I have to write code for this. And here one more thing, what we do, we create one more class. Okay, go with the new item, then specify this as, okay, SQL Server. Okay, connect SQL Server connectivity with ADO net. I write like this. Using ADO.NET, we are trying to create here a new class. We are creating a class using actually the, with the help of the SQL Server, using certain library ADO.NET, we are going to connect with the SQL Server. So just make this as public class SQL server connectivity with ADO.NET. But to get connected to this, okay, so can we open here, just see using here, right? Microsoft dot, okay, data, anything like that. We don't have anything. So let us go here with the system, then dot followed by here data dot, here I have SQL client. So using this, I can connect to the database. So this SQL client is what it is here, the required namespace. In this, you have various classes defined. Okay, then now here, what I do, I want to create a main method. Public, then static, void, main, followed by here, string, args. I can put like this, then here, I would like to write the code. Very first thing is what I need to read data from the configuration file, app.config file. Okay, so here we require one more class. Right here using system dot configuration. Okay, dot, okay, configuration. I need to add even this namespace. I'm adding that particular namespace system.configuration. So using that, I want to connect to now database. So in the main method, I would like to go with the configuration manager. One of the important classes in the configuration namespace is configuration manager. With the help of that, you can configure connections and many other things. Whatever you define in the app.config file, from there you can retrieve. So to access this file, we can use configuration manager. So just write here configuration manager. Okay, here write string strcon equal to configuration manager. As we come down here, we can find it. Configuration manager dot followed by connection strings. Followed by here, you can specify the name of the connection string here. If you go down here, you can use the name as well. So what is the name we gave here? dbcon is the name of the connection string. Okay, it is dbcon is the name of the connection string. Here we need to specify that. Followed by here, right, dot toString, or you can go with the connection string. Like this, you can retrieve data from the given, say, key. So this app configure is nothing but this is a XML file. It's nothing but XML file. Okay, so from in this you have a section called connection strings. In that, one of the one of the feature in this is what add is one feature. Here we gave name equal to dbcon, other one is connection string. So based on the name, we are going to be retrieving connection string here. Okay, we need to get now connection string from this. Now come to this point, and here we come to this one connectivity. So we are getting here in this case connection string. So once connection string is available, what you can do here, you can create first of all here a command class, connection class. So what I type here, SQL connection. Okay, so here I'm going with the system.data.sql client. So if I go with the SQL connection, it is not available anything in this. So what I do here, I can go to here in this, I can go to tools, And in the NuGet package manager, I can install the required library. I type here Microsoft, here data.sql client, this is required. I have to install this one, Microsoft.data.sql client is required. I must be installing that here. Okay, let me install here this one. Okay. Now, once that is added here, so once that is added, you can actually access the database. So come to this point here, and here try to go with this, right, using Microsoft dot data dot SQL client. You can use that particular thing. Okay, now when you come here, you can get the SQL client class. Okay, SQL client, not client, we require SQL connection class. SQL connection, object con equal to, here it is new SQL connection. Okay, so it is overloaded 3 times. You can specify the connection string. We take from here connection string. So we are trying to establish connection with this. We created some mechanism, okay, to connect to the database. We haven't opened connection, but just we actually provided some kind of facility to get connected to database. So we created here object con, which is nothing but SQL connection. Using this connection string, we created the object con object that is for the connection, SQL connection. Okay, next thing, I need command here. SQL command, okay, object CMD equal to, or I can go with the lowercase, equal to here. I'll go with the new SQL command. New SQL command. Okay, here I can use existing connection, but here what I can do, I can specify what command I want to use. Command text I can take here. I want to get data here. What data I want to get here? Let us go into this and see. So from category, we want to get the data. Okay, from TBL category, I want to get data. So therefore, I write here, select star from TBL category. Okay, so using this command, I want to retrieve data from the database. Okay, when you go, sorry, this is not connection, this is going to be command. Okay, SQL command, we created here a command object. This is fine. Next, but how do you send this command? For that, you require a connection. Just write here object CMD dot connection equal to here object con. So with that, we connect to the underlying database. Okay, so I mean, using object con, we connect to database, and using this connection object, you can send this command. Okay, next thing, object CMD dot connection type. Okay, so you can go here, sorry, command type. You can go with the command type equal to what we write here. There is an enumeration command type. Okay, command type dot followed by text. I don't want to go with here any stored procedure, plain text command we are giving. So like this, we have certain settings. Okay, so we need to read data now here. So therefore, what you do, SQL data reader. You have one class called SQL data reader. Right here, object reader. Like this, we create the reader object. So it is not initialized so far. We haven't initialized it so far. This one, just we created object. Now go here with the try catch block. Try followed by catch. Then write here exception ex. Okay. Similarly, here we go with the finally. In the finally block, we are going to here write cleanup operation. Whatever cleanup operation we want to do, we can do in the finally block. We'll do in the finally block. So just here type a command. If object con dot state not equal to, okay, state, first of all, here, okay, not equal to connection state dot closed, we can take it. Okay. So connection state can be closed also. We need to close at the end of the operation. Connection state dot followed by close it. Okay, in such cases, you need to close this one. Object con, then dot, here it is close. We are going to close in case if it is not closed. Okay, if the connection string is not closed in such cases, what we do, we are going to be closing that particular thing. Okay, so that is finally we do. But here, so far, we haven't done anything. So first we need to open the connection. Right here, object con, it's nothing but connection string. We have to open here. We are opening the connection. Then what we do, we need to read data from the database table. Here write obj data reader equal to, right here, object cmd, then dot here, okay, execute reader. This is the command. With the help of this, you can actually read data from the database. Object cmd dot execute reader, we write like this. Okay, then what we do, while object reader, okay, dot read. So if it can read next row, in such cases, what we do, we try to print all the data. One by one row, it can read, okay, object reader dot read. As long as it can read data, we retrieve and we try to print here the data. Right here, console dot write line, followed by data is available in the object reader. Okay, then right here, in this manner, we go with the 0. Then here we put 1. Then we are going to be putting 2 here. Then here we write this one as object reader followed by 0, very first column, dot to string we write here. In the same manner, object reader, we can copy same thing in fact. Okay, I can copy the same thing here. Even after that, again, I can copy, but in the ending, I should remove the comma. Okay, I should remove the comma at the end. So here, in the first case, 0, next is 1, then we have here 2. Like this, we need to do this. Okay, we are going to print the 3 things in this. Then what we do here, object reader followed by, we have to close this, dot close. Once we come out from the loop, that means iteration is over, then we can close the reader. So what is happening in this case? We are iterating over the reader number of times. As long as all the rows, as long as rows are available, you can fetch the next row. Then we can print it row by row. We are retrieving here and printing. Let us try to print this particular thing, how it works. Let us see this. So go to project. Okay, here, which one is having main method? Let us see. startup object here we have. So we go with the SQL Server connectivity with ADO.NET. Save this, then here try to run this one now. We can keep a breakpoint and see one by one, or else we can run here. So from here, let us try to execute. Breakpoint we take and insert breakpoint. Try to run this. Okay. So the cursor is positioned here. When I press F10, I should get actually the strcon, the connection string information. Whatever we kept in that server equal to desktop, then database equal to VRDB, integrated security true, encrypt equal to false, we are getting all that information. That means it could read from the given app config file. Then press F10. Okay, press like this, command text. Then it's coming here. Connection is opened successfully. We are executing data. So whether any records are available or not, we can check. Okay, there are records available in that. So when I press if the records are available, then we come to this one. Press F10. It's printing the first line. Then again it tries to read. So there are 3 records total. How many? There are 3 records. So 3 times we need to iterate over this one here. First time it is over. Press F10. Now the next time also it is reading. So second time is over. Then we go here with the, even if you see it's printing 100 footwear, 101 men's footwear, 100 like this, it's printing for us. Okay, again we go here. Then third time it prints. After that it comes to end. Because there are 3 rows in that, you are going to get them. Okay, now it is going to end. Then reader is getting closed. Okay, then after that, what happens? It comes to finally code block. Then it's going to close the connection. The program has come to the end. You can see the results here. 100 footwear, it is null value. Then 101 men's footwear, 100. Then 102 women's footwear, 100 like this. You are getting data. So using here, you can see same kind of data you have here. The three data, whatever you have, same things are getting printed for us here. Okay, but we are not getting actually, we have description, we are not printing it. If we want to print description, even that can be printed. We are printing only 3 data. We are not printing all the data. So let us go here and try to add the 4th one. What will happen? See in that. So we have to specify here the 3rd one as well. That means 4th column. Also we can specify it's going to print that data as well. So go here and try to specify this as 3. Now see how you get the data. Okay, I just press F5 here. You can quickly see the data here in this. Okay. Is it giving an error? It's giving error. So why it is giving error? This is not 4, this must be 3. I kept it as 4, so this must be 3. Then in such cases, there will not be any error for us. Press F5 and try to see data. You can see here 100 footwear, then new category footwear added. Okay, new category men's footwear added. So here new category women's footwear added. So total you are getting 4 columns in that. So every time we are getting in this case 4 columns. Okay, so here also we are retrieving 4 columns and trying to print here. So like this, what we are doing, we are selecting data from the category table and we are printing them there. So using here, which one? A connection class, then command class, then one more thing is reader class. With the help of that, you are doing all this. Connection class, then command class, another one is reader class. So with the help of this, we are achieving this particular thing here. Okay, so using connection class, we can first of all create a connection object which is responsible for maintaining connections with the given database. Second thing, command. Command object is responsible for, executing commands. Okay, it can be command or it can be stored procedure. But how to send this command? So to send this command, you require some kind of connection. So the command is attached to connection in that case. With the open connection, you can send the command. Okay, but so far connection is not opened. The next thing is what here we specify like this object cmd.connection equal to we attach here connection object. So this command can be getting executed with the help of this connection object. Then command type is what here command type dot text. We are not typing here plain text. We are not typing actually here a stored function or stored procedure. Then you have here object reader. Okay, object reader. This is for reading data one by one, row by row, we can read. As long as we are reading data, the connection is actually open. Okay, connection is open. This is very lightweight object. Object reader is lightweight. But there is one problem with this. The problem is actually as long as the data reading is not over, what happens there? So it is going to be, it's not going to close connection. Okay, connection is not going to be getting closed. Okay, if it is single user interface, only one person is working, then no problem. But when multiple people are working on that, in such case, definitely others are going to have bad experience. So what I'm doing here, I'm reading one by one. Okay, so one by one, conditionally, I'm printing there. I need to input something. Okay, suppose I'm waiting to give input. In that case, what happens? The resource is going to be locked like that, only blocked like that, as long as this operation is not complete. So this is called as your connected mechanism. When you do like this is called as connected mechanism. So connected mechanism is going to hold the resources as long as the operation is not completed. Okay, but once this is completed, you have to close the connection. That's why I'm closing the connection at the end of the while loop here. Object reader dot close, with the help of that I'm closing it. Okay, but during the process, if there is any exception, that you can handle with the help of the catch except. And at the end, you have finally here, in the finally, we perform cleanup operation. Suppose connection is opened, okay, but there is some problem with the command. So in such case, what this is going to offend, try block cannot be executed, but it has opened connection. Okay, what is happening? Connection is open. When you're trying to execute this execute reader, it's giving some problem. So in such case, what happens? The code will not execute. Code further it comes into catch block. Okay, it comes into catch block. Then here with the finally block, what happens? Connection state is going to be getting closed. Connection is going to be getting closed with the help of this. Suppose same thing if you write here, due to any problem, if you don't reach that command, in that case, what happens? Connection is going to be opened. It remains opened. To avoid such problem, you can use here finally. Whatever cleanup things are required, you can clean up with the help of the finally block. So this is called as try, catch, and finally block. We call this as try, catch, and finally block. We try to execute this piece of code. Due to any reason, if code is not getting executed, what happens here? It comes to catch block here. It can be handling the exceptions. Okay, exception is handled. So without abruptly program, without crashing application, say if we come to catch block. But earlier opened a connection, the connection is going to be remain open. So if you don't close them, normally you have written close, you have written method to close. You have written code to close the connection somewhere here only assume. In the line number 32, if you write what happens in that case, whenever there is an exception, it will not come to that line. Okay, it's not going to be coming to that line. So therefore, what happens? This line, since it's not reaching that line, connection is going to be open only. So therefore, to avoid that problem, in the finally block, if you put here, what happens? The connection can be getting closed. So irrespective of the outcome here, whether try block is crashing, it's giving any exception or not. Okay, what happens here in the case of success? Okay, and in the case of catching any exceptions, in both the cases, what happens? It comes to finally block. So therefore, if you write here in the finally block, automatically that part is going to be handled here. That part of code is handled if you put in the finally block. So this is called as actually cleanup operations. Normally, whatever cleanup operations you have, you can put in the finally block. Something like closing open files, similarly closing open connections, all those you can do here in this part. Okay, so what we have done today, we are connecting to SQL Server. So using which namespace here? Microsoft.data.sql client. Using NuGet package manager, we have installed it. Okay, then even we have created one more thing, app config file. It's called as application configuration file. Under connection strings, we added this one. Add name equal to dbcon. Then connection string equal to, we specify this connection string, and integrated security equal to true, encrypt equal to false. So using this connection string, but how do we retrieve this connection string in the code? So to retrieve that one, we have written this code. What is that code exactly? You have a configuration manager, okay, dot connection strings dbcon. When you go with the app config file, you have one section called, what is that section exactly? Connection string section. So in that section, you have one connection string whose key name is what here, dbcon. Value is going to be here. This basically under connection string we have. So using this key, we are going to be retrieving the connection string here. So if you come, what we have written, if you come to this point here, configuration manager dot connection strings dbcon dot connection string. So we are retrieving connection string, and with the help of that, we create here connection object. Then we created command object. In the command object, what command we are giving? Select star from TBL history. Okay, then we are mapping connection object to object cmd.connection. So here to execute this command, you require some connection. So we are attaching this command to connection object here. Then what is the command type here? Command type is text. It's not stored procedure. Okay. Similarly, this is what exactly SQL data reader we have created. Data reader, reference variable we created. When we come into try block, here what we do? Object con.open, connection we are opening here. Connection we are opening. But whatever connection you open, you have to close that always. Then object reader equal to object cmd.execute reader. We are executing that particular command. So in such case, what happens? It is going to open connection to that particular table. Therefore, what happens here? One by one, we can read here. So using read method, you can read the next available record. So here while object reader dot read, that means as long as it can read data, so we are going to iterate over it. After iterating, what we do after reading the row, we are going to print data from that. Then after that, we advance to next record like that. As long as there are records, we are going to be doing that. Okay, but whenever records are not available, it is going to be coming out from the loop. Okay, so it's going to be coming out from the loop here. This is what basically bool operation. Whenever it can read successfully data record, then in that case, what happens? That is going to be true. When it cannot read data, in that case, that becomes false. Then after that, what we do? We are closing here the reader object. Then code is going to come to finally block. In the finally block, we are going to close the connection. So like this is going to be working. So we got connected to SQL Server database. We are retrieving data from the given database table here.